Lovin Dubai Before Brunch podcast. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Casey.
And we're talking anything and everything going on in Dubai.
And we're with you every Friday morning in the beautiful hour before brunch begins.
Good morning, happy weekend everyone. Happy Friday, Casey.
Happy Friday, Caitlin. Has this been the longest week?
It's actually not. It's been 4 days for a lot of people and 3 days for others. So I've found it has gone quite quickly.
Did you really?
Yes.
But coming from Ramadan when we had those beautiful days and now we've had a 4-day weekend and then straight into the full 10 million hour days.
Oh yeah, the days feel quite long coming out of Ramadan hours. There's that 2 hours in the afternoon where you think you've got an hour to go, but joke's on you because you've got another 2.5 hours to go.
Yeah, so I was doing 8 until 3 during Ramadan, so it got to 3 p.m. and I was just ready to leave. And I feel like everyone probably became expert at squeezing all their hours into a shorter hour day and are thinking, why don't we have this all the time?
Yeah, I think we're more efficient workers and now I'm just wasting 2 hours of my life.
On the subject of efficient workers, did you see that article on Lovin Dubai that said in the UAE we work longer hours than most countries in the world? I think we're number 6.
I'd believe that. I think we'd be, second to Japan and Korea and those kind of places because they say that it's better. Like if you're falling asleep at your desk, you're working hard.
So, yeah, I heard that. Do you think it's better to work a long hour as a boss, Caitlin, as someone who is in charge of people? And I'll come at this from an employee's aspect. Are you better off working a long hour day, or do you not think that people would work like a 3-hour, take a 2-hour break, then go back in for a stronger evening?
I'm not going to condone a 2-hour break, but I do think that if we have less hours to get our work done, people still get their work done. They just spend less time goofing about.
And then your out of work office life balance is much more in tune and may lead for happier individuals.
Which is the priority.
I think I saw Sweden who were introducing this 5-6 hour day.
Yeah, I think we need to follow suit there.
You sort it out, man.
I actually wrote an opinion piece as well about public holidays, and I think companies need to follow suit in Western countries because in Australia, if a public holiday falls on a weekend, you get a day in lieu. So if Labor Day falls on a Saturday, you would get either the Friday or Monday. You'd get one of those off as the public holiday because it fell on a weekend. And I think companies here need to follow that.
100% agree with you, but is that not what a few did? Because I know a lot of ad and media agencies gave their employees 3 or 4 days.
But I don't think enough companies do it, and I don't think it's a priority enough here to think like that. The mindset isn't quite there, and a lot of companies didn't give people any days off.
It just becomes more obvious when a couple of holidays have fallen on a weekend. I'm sorry, we've totally segued away from the exciting thing that we have going this week, Caitlin.
Of course. So we are giving away a 1,000 dirham Sephora hamper. How exciting is this?
I'm super excited. Our conversation always generally turns towards makeup and beauty and skincare. So then we pitched Sephora and we're like, yo, can we give away 1,000 dirham vouchers? And they said yes.
It's a hamper, not a voucher.
Okay.
So it's going to be a physical hamper for you to collect full of goodies. And the reason we're giving this is because, we talk about Sephora every week. And if you've listened to us for this long, you know that and are probably equally as enthusiastic about Sephora.
And it made us think that every week we should try and do this and let's pitch other people. So Namshi, Noon, who else? If you can think of anyone that you know that is local that we may possibly be able to contact, let us know and we'll contact them and see if we can do vouchers. And then it will be a really simple entry mechanism.
So stay tuned for that because about halfway through the podcast, we're going to give you the details on how to win this Sephora hamper, which is so exciting.
But until then, we're going to talk about 2 interesting news stories. The first one was just came out this weekend. It was British Airways are in a little bit of hot water. Have you heard what they've done?
I feel like airlines are always in trouble upsetting their customers. And I think that this is just another case of an airline not doing its due diligence.
Okay. So if you haven't heard what happened, I think over 2,000 people saw flights from the UK to Dubai and surrounding areas. The flights were going for £200 return. So straight away you're thinking, that's incredible.
So that's 1,000 dirhams, right?
Yeah.
A return trip from the UK to Dubai.
On British Airways, which is a pretty swanky airline.
That's a great deal.
I think I'm going to ballpark here, you're usually paying £350 and upwards, which is why over 2,000 people leapt on this opportunity. Now, they were booking through travel agents. And I think that's key here because British Airways, I saw some of their social media responses were like, you need to get in touch with the airline. This wasn't booked through us, which is fair response. But soon after it happened, they realised the blunder. Everyone got their full fare refunded and were told via email over a week later that their flights were cancelled.
That's a bit harsh.
I think the timing is tricky as well because within that week, A, you're super excited, B, most importantly, you've probably booked a car, you've probably booked a hotel. So you're like locked into this flight, into this holiday at this point, and then your flights get taken away. And now you may have to book at a more expensive cost.
And they'll probably jack up the prices for those flights now because people are obliged to take the holiday.
Yeah, I saw one tweeter was like, okay, who will I book with now? And I think she was hoping that an airline would jump on a great social media campaign and be like, here, book with us. But so far, not so good.
So people are pretty upset about this. What has the reaction been like on Twitter? Because that's my favourite to see angry tweets about situations.
But as you can imagine, like you said, people are really, really angry. People are saying that the customer experience has been shocking. One Twitter user made the really, really good point that, hey, if I try and cancel a flight with you guys on a normal occasion, you're charging me for that privilege. If I try and change a date, you're charging me for the privilege. He said upwards of £100. So how come you guys are allowed to cancel mine 1 week later with no fee and they're calling injustice?
That's fair because you can pay extortionate fees just to change the date. So why does the airline get to do it free of charge?
And we contacted British Airways and they gave a small response. What they said was, we've contacted the small number of travel agents who were able to access the incorrect fare for the short period it was available to advise them and apologise. We are fully refunding the tickets that were booked.
People would be spewing.
I love that we are fully refunding the tickets that were booked. Of course you are.
Wouldn't expect anything less than that. Maybe a little more, though. You could give some kind of gesture of goodwill, voucher or something. It's not really that ridiculous a price that I think they should be able to refund it.
It is tricky though, because as a business, you're going to go by the book. So you're not just going to throw out 2,000 people £200 vouchers. What is the right thing to do?
But it was their mess up. It's their fault, not the people booking its fault.
Was it not the 5 travel agents? Because I think, like I said, I think these were booked through travel agents. And as you know, and I've just booked a flight through a travel agent, and you really need to be careful with these guys. So,
what do travel agents do? Do they have access to different flights that we have access to? Like now the internet gives you all the information and all the booking and fares and stuff. What does a travel agent do that we can't do ourselves?
So if you go on to a normal airline, so I'm going to tell you right now, I was booking a flight to the Maldives, very exciting, and there was Skyscanner giving me flights for, let's say, by SpiceJet for 2,000 dirham, and then when you go on to the SpiceJet website, 3,500 dirham, because they are able to find the cheapest options at the best times, and then they give you a mashup of all the airlines.
Okay, so they they play Skyscanner, but in person rather than as an algorithm.
No, I mean, these travel agents are Skyscanners.
Oh, they're Skyscanner travel agents. So that was the agent, was the website, not an in-person office travel agent.
Yeah, but can I say, when you're on Skyscanner and you pick a certain flight and then it brings you to these agents that will do it, and usually they have ratings, and you have to be really, really careful because there's 1 or 2 that are known. They're not complete scam artists, but they will like do you over. So they'll have all these terms and conditions. They can cancel flights without letting you know and change dates. So if you're booking like a big round trip, you need to be really careful with the travel agent.
I actually got screwed. It wasn't by Skyscanner, it was by a different one of these websites. And it kind of manufactured this flight to Australia, and it was through Indonesia, Jakarta. And it gave me like a 10-hour layover, which was ridiculous. And it's not a great airport to have a long layover in. And I had to, because the flights were separate airlines, I had to disembark, then go through customs and pay for a visa in Indonesia to go back in. And then it wasn't practical to leave the airport because I didn't know where to go or anything and didn't want to spend more money. So then I got stuck in the departures, but not even in the comfy bit. It was like where you wait to check in because the check-in for the new flight wasn't open yet.
So this is it. If you're booking through an airline, one direct, that's not going to happen. But if you go for the cheaper option, which I'm doing some Maldives and it sounds a very interesting flight that I have, then you will have like there was 10-hour layovers and things on the way.
For Maldives.
Yeah, I didn't take that.
Maldives is like 4 hours away.
It's 4 hours if you can pay Emirates prices.
Fly Dubai flies there.
I looked up Skyscanner.
she just looked crestfallen. You can actually get flights to Maldives for, I think it's around 1,500 dirhams on Fly Dubai. 2,000 maybe, but depending on the dates.
I have spent, a friend and I are traveling together, and we have spent 2 or 3 days looking at fluctuations because they went up to, I know that flights are usually around 2,000 dirham. Emirates are charging about 4,000 because this is the Eid holiday in August. FYI, we may have 4 holidays Tuesday 21. Get excited. And yeah, I could not find anything affordable, but I've ended up with a 2,000 dirham flight with SpiceJet and another airline. 6-hour stopover in, I'm going to butcher the name, Kochi in India.
6-hour stopover.
It's the Maldives.
The Maldives is 4 hours away. I do have to say, because it's that busy weekend, I think Fly Dubai only has 1 flight per day, so maybe they're sold out.
I feel ill.
You should. You've got a 6-hour stopover on a 4-hour flight. Sorry.
Anyway, I feel ill. Imagine if you're one of these people that had your Dubai dream holiday booked. You got your flight for £200. Then you had a hotel. You may have booked you may have booked an activity. People are organised. I don't know. And then to get an email, you wouldn't even believe the email.
Well, good news is Emirates is having a sale at the moment for England flights. So hopefully people got to book on what I think, better airline for a good price. Let us know your flight debacles. We'd love to hear them. So everyone has 1 or 2 horror stories, don't they?
Absolutely, especially travel agent mock-ups, because I feel like people can get really done by doing the cheaper option. And if you're in a position to go for the more expensive one, do. But obviously we're not, so... You know,
I'm from Brisbane in Australia, which is a 14-hour direct flight, 16 hours if you have the stopover in Singapore for refueling in the smaller planes. But that means it opens the floodgates for all these cheap options where you can spend like 40 hours in transition with a 10-hour stopover in an Indian airport. And it's just like, you wouldn't believe it, the amount of flights and routes that you can take to get there that just will take you a week.
I'm going to Brisbane in Australia at Christmas, and no doubt it will be a 3-day trip.
Oh, just get the direct flight. You've got to just spend that extra bit of money. It is worth it just for the direct flight. Because if you actually work out the value of your time and your holiday time and not out what you're worth per hour, then 500 dirhams or 1,000 dirhams is worth it just to get that day less of transition.
I totally agree with you, especially at Christmas. I find that when you're going home and you have a very short amount of time and you're traveling a long distance, you want to enjoy every second. So I probably would try and go for the direct. It's just a Maldives holiday I probably shouldn't be taking anyway. So I just, yeah.
I do love a cheap holiday, but I think if you want to take a cheap flight, you have to be very organised and very aware of what you have to do it. So I went to another trip I took on a long flight was to my brother in Vancouver in Canada, and instead of paying for the direct flight to Vancouver, I flew into Seattle and then took a 5-hour bus. But then you need a US visa and a Canada visa.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like you have to be very organised. Luckily, Emirates is a bit more organised than the average airline, because I've had other instances where airlines have flown me through somewhere and not told me I need a visa or need to know where things are. So it can get really confusing. But that was actually a really pleasant bus trip because it was through the beautiful landscapes of America and Canada.
Mm-hmm. But all of this information is better in hindsight, like, you know.
Oh yeah, hindsight's 20/20 vision, right?
Hindsight and a couple of years on you. I think a few years ago it was the longest flight, no matter what, it was fine as long as you're getting to that destination. And then as you get a little bit older, you become a little bit more comfortable, and you want the nicer things, and you
I think you learn from your mistakes too. So once you miss a flight, you never miss a flight again, right? And once you get somewhere and have issues with the visa, you make sure every time you travel you have the correct documents and visa.
Exactly. That was British Airways.
We've got two British sisters who have been jailed and will be deported. What for, Casey?
Well, so this story came out in August, and you've probably seen it in the media basically because the two girls, they're from Belarus originally, but they're from the UK, and they are blonde, peroxide hair, wear a lot of makeup, eyelashes, pink lips. I don't know how else to describe them, but
Great tans.
Great tans. And the story is that they allegedly physically abused a female police officer outside a hotel in Barsha Heights in August. And the story's kind of been ongoing a little bit. And then this week it was announced that they have been jailed and will be deported. And the story is in the media again.
So they were arrested in August outside a Barsha Heights bar, which makes me always think rock bottom.
Why is that?
I think because of Jamie Harron's case, the Scottish guy who got arrested for groping a businessman. And so I just assume that it's rock bottom. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But they have been imprisoned for assaulting a police officer. Is that right?
Yeah, we should say, so in one of the local reports said that it was a top class hotel in Barsha Heights. So that could be many, could have been the Grand Millennium. There's a good few night spots there now. It's quite busy.
Are they not all 4-star hotels in Barsha Heights?
Top class, it's the Daily Mail probably.
What does top class even mean?
It's got AC, I don't know.
So they were arrested for assaulting a police officer. That's a pretty serious offence. I think they've gotten off easy with 6 months prison.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole story. So they were leaving a club late at night and one of the girls needed medical attention. I'm not sure what happened, but an ambulance was called. This was before any arguing, any scuffling. An ambulance was called, and at one point, one of the girls got angry and apparently slammed a door on the paramedic's hand.
Ow.
Yeah. And then somehow a local female police officer became involved. She ended up being pushed on the ground at some point. When the girls were arrested, they were resisting arrest. They were banging on the doors of the police car. They were screaming. This is all allegedly. They denied the charges, but I think there were some witnesses to back it up. Yeah, so 6 months. I think the police officer wasn't actually in her uniform, so that might have thrown them a little bit. But
it's still assaulting someone, regardless of whether it's a police officer or not, or a police officer in uniform or not. You still don't assault people.
Yeah, I know. But it's just been interesting. But like you said, the Jamie Harron case, you said groping. I'm not sure what the problem with the Jamie Harron case was, that they didn't know. No one could say for sure if he had done it. No one would really know. But in this case, I think there were some witnesses, which makes it more concrete.
So they've been sentenced now. So this happened in August. They've been sentenced now to 6 months in jail. They did seem to be living it up in between, during the trial, right? From August to now, looking at their Instagram, they didn't seem to be missing out on any life.
Well, yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do in this situation? I can't imagine any of us would know how that would feel.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine how you would react in that situation. They're still probably working while the case was ongoing. They're still probably looking for help. And judging from past stories like this that have broken in the media, people haven't been jailed. Jamie Harron was jailed and quite quickly pardoned because of the media circus. So you don't know what kind of legal help these girls have. Maybe they didn't think that they would actually be jailed.
They did work for a law firm, right? So you'd think they'd have a good knowledge of the law. But prior to working for the law firm, one of the facts of the case, well, it's not of the case, but a fact about the girls that has captured our readers' attention is their prior employment to the law was the adult film industry.
Yeah, this is interesting, but actually they use the income they earn from that to fund their law school.
So these two girls were working in the adult film industry while at uni studying law and putting themselves through law school, then have worked in law and now have broken the law and will be deported after their 6 months.
Yeah, but as this story has gotten more legs, it's just another prime example of the British tabloids and media taking any story they can about Dubai and putting it through the dirt. Because if this story happened in the UK, two girls on a night out, they assault someone, they go to jail, is it newsworthy?
Probably not the
Definitely
way
not.
these kind of things are here, because this gets on the Daily Mail, on the Sun, on all the kind of international publications that just want to rip the mick out of Dubai. And so what normally wouldn't be reported seems to be, because they love to fixate on Dubai cracking down on illegal activities that aren't necessarily illegal in the UK. The assaulting a police officer, obviously illegal, but drinking, and a guy once gave the finger in a road rage incident and he was arrested. So the UK loves, and these tabloids love fixating on those little facts.
And it doesn't matter what the story is. Like I said, this one isn't particularly sensational. It just happens to be female. They happen to have a history in the adult film industry, and they happen to be living in Dubai. And they were out one night and they were drunk and rowdy. And if the stories are to be believed, they assaulted a police officer. That story would not have made the press in the UK. But like you said, it's UK media mostly dragging Dubai's name through dirt.
Or the mud.
Or the mud.
On that happy note, we're going to have a quick break, and then we are giving someone this Sephora hamper, so stay tuned, and we'll be talking anything and everything shopping, which is very exciting. Again,
Soon.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now we're giving away this amazing Sephora hamper. We've got a few of the products on hand just to give you a full lowdown of what you're going to be getting. Now, how you can be in the running to win this amazing prize valued at over 1,000 dirhams, all you have to do is tell us any one of the products in this hamper, in the article that this podcast is attached to. We will share that article on all platforms. So you just have to tell us one. We're going to rattle off a few now. Casey, do you want to tell us what the first product is?
Yeah, and can I just say, if you like Sephora products, this has got a wide range, so something you like will definitely be here. We have a Tarte face shaping palette, and when you go in, it's actually like 9 or 10 shades of beautiful contouring colours. It's the dream.
We also have, now this I think is the biggest one, is the Becca, the Ocean Jewels collection. So this has the Ocean Jewels eye palette, the lip tuative glow gloss, and the highlighter palette. So it's got 3 different products in it. It's a little package of its own.
It's huge.
It is, and it's beautiful. Becca has the most amazing highlighters.
Yeah, okay, so if you've tried Becca highlighters, you know that they are to die for. It's so funny how excited we are about this package. I just feel like it's the dream. So next we have a primer from Too Faced, and Too Faced's got some really, really adorable packaging, but I've heard about this hangover product. It's really new, and it is replenishing primer and setting spray, so perfect for pre-makeup face, especially in this weather.
I can't tell you how good and important a primer is with this humidity. The makeup just melts down your face. Too Faced is a great one. We also have the Sephora My Pampering Box. So this is a little treat yourself kind of product. It's got a few different things in it. It's got some eye masks in it, the peel away ones. So it's got pearl eye masks and, a shea lip mask.
Dream.
It's also got
an instant moisture gel. I think this is all just to keep your skin in tip-top shape. That's a whole package for that.
There's an instant anti-fatigue eye moisturizer with hyaluronic acid, which is one of my favorite ingredients. I might actually take that one. No, I better put it in the hamper. So this will all be in the hamper. And there's a pink clay mask. So there is plenty there to help give your skin hydration and keep it healthy, but also make it look beautiful.
Yeah, and can we just say these are all, so the Too Faced one is full size, Tarte is full size, and it's a contour palette, and usually contour palettes only have 4 shades. Like I said, this has 10. The Becca is 3 products in one, so all full size, and then the skincare treat yourself box is all little sachets. And yeah, basically just let us know. I'm going to say the names again: Becca, Tarte, Too Faced, and Sephora.
So just let us know any of those products in the hamper for your chance to be in the running, and we will be giving that away this week. How exciting is that?
Within our website article. So we always do an article on the podcast. This is week 13, and there'll be a little form. You'll just have to give us your name, answer the question, and we'll announce the winners next week.
on the podcast.
Yeah, why not?
So you have to listen, which lucky you have to do anyway.
We'll also notify you on your email.
So we definitely want to give this away. Make sure you enter it. Tell us which product is in it. You can tell us all of them.
The thing is, you can enter as many times as you want. Tell your friends, because there's so many cool size products in here that you can share it with them if they win.
Speaking of beautiful beauty purchases and other purchases,
Go on, where is this going?
I have been very excited because Noon.com has announced that they are partnering with a very big website.
Tell me more.
eBay. eBay and Noon are partnering. How good is this?
I wish we had like sounds so I could go, woo, celebration.
Yeah,
But it is,
round of applause.
this is huge, huge news.
People didn't seem as excited as I was because Souk partnered with Amazon. Now Noon is partnering with eBay, which means all of eBay's products and whole inventory is accessible to the region, and it's going to be fulfilled by Noon, which means it's a company that has local knowledge of the kind of shipping issues we have, and just the stuff you can get on eBay is amazing.
Yeah, and I think it is very exciting because the stuff you can get, that means we're just open to millions more products. But like you said, the shipping issues, because if you order from somewhere outside of the country, it's hard to direct them with the addresses and stuff because there's no street addresses here. So which is why.
And we don't have post boxes, and even the regular postal system here is not the easiest system to navigate. So external companies don't really understand this, and that's why we have companies like Fetcher, RMX and DHL, which get the products in a timely manner to your door.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that now we can get that in eBay.
So if you have eBay and Noon versus the heavyweight, which you just mentioned, which is Amazon and Souk, it is the battle of the heavyweights. So at least now there's some competition, which I think kind of opens up to lower prices, which is awesome too.
I do feel like I need to shout out, because I cannot sing this website's praises enough, is Namshi.com. Now, Namshi is so efficient.
I love how you say Namshi.
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 How do you say it?
Namshi.
Namshi. Namshi.com has excellent shipping. I ordered something at 8:45 in the morning, and it was on my desk in the office by 3 p.m. that day.
This is the beauty of local brands who deliver. Like nowhere else in the world. Namshi is amazing. We need to talk about e-labels and Nisnas. To be able to get something, especially clothes that you're really excited to wear, to get them that quickly, it's so cool.
Especially if you have like an event, say this weekend, and you want something tomorrow night, you can order it and it'll be with you. It's so great, because if you panic and you don't have something and you go, oh my gosh, it's late, it's the dream. And there's no fees for shipping, which is also excellent, because sometimes you can end up spending more on shipping than you do on the actual product when it's from overseas.
And my experience here is also with Namshi. My experience here is also with Namshi, and the returns are really easy. When I first moved over here, I didn't really know where to order clothes, so I went to ASOS. You're paying a lot for delivery, returns are a disaster, and shipping took bloody ages.
I find the returns palaver so difficult with those international companies that usually I just don't, and I'll just give it to one of my friends or sell it on, because it's not worth the shipping and the trying to arrange to get it sent back. It's too difficult.
This is it. If something takes 3 weeks to come, the turnaround is just a nightmare, which is why I personally have had brilliant experience at Namshi. And then also, I haven't tried it, but this Nisnas new site that people are talking about sounds interesting.
I'm really happy with the activewear, and I get all my Converse sneakers off e-labels, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's not as well known as Namshi, but it is very quick and efficient, and they have a great range of activewear.
They do. Yeah, I would definitely give a shout out to the activewear and e-labels. Activewear. Where do you go in your activewear, Kate?
Everywhere. I'd come to work in my activewear if I could.
Some people do. That was low-key shade to our colleagues.
Sephora actually has an online store as well, which is...
But is that local?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, it's Sephora Middle East. But what I need to mention about this is you get free treats. Like if you spend over 200 dirhams, you might get a free sample of eye cream or foundation, and the more you spend, the more free treats you get. If you are determined to go to a mall, however, big news this weekend. There's a 12-hour sale happening, and it's like 30 to 90% off. Part of the Dubai Summer Surprises. It's happening at Mall of the Emirates, City Centre Murdiff, and City Centre Dira, and it's 12 hours only. It's gonna be mental.
Yeah, so we hear a lot of sales happen in Dubai, and they're always shouted about it in the media. But this is the kickoff of Dubai Summer Surprise Sale. So this is the one that starts the whole summer of sales, but also I expect that this will have some of the best discounts because it's the very start of it. So get to these malls that Kate just mentioned at 12 p.m. on Friday, and you have 12 hours and just go.
So midday till midnight at Mall of the Emirates, City Centre Murdiff, and City Centre Dira. It's going to be huge. Midday today. So if you've just tuned in, get there today, Friday. It's going to be crazy. But I think what's going to be great about this one is because it's across 3 malls, it's not going to have the kind of bedlam that some of the other super sales have had. Do you know the ones I'm talking about?
I know some super sales bedlam. You can't guarantee because I feel like people will want the very good discounts.
Yeah, so it is going to be busy, but it's going to be worth it. And because it's spread across 3 malls, you do have a bit more choice. And they're all excellent malls, and there's going to be huge discounts, up to 90%. So Dubai Summer Surprises.
Let go.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, we're going to sign off.
Head down to the mall.
Head down to the mall. Do enter our Sephora competition. We promise you it is a really, really good giveaway, and we want to give it away. We will announce a winner next week, but we'll also notify you on your email or however you enter. And have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week.